This is going to be a fun show today. Andrew Perloff, ladies and gentlemen, a gamer.
Yeah.
Sounds a little under the weather, is currently doing the show with a winter coat on, even though it is 70 degrees in the studio. I'm wearing a T-shirt. I feel fine. And you are being a trooper right now.
I would say I'm the Tua of the show. Yeah, they say that I can't handle the cold. As long as you have the right jacket, you can do anything.
You think Tua's going to play with like a jacket and then a jersey over it?
Oh, yeah. Who was that dude who did that? Was that Tua?
I don't know if anybody's ever done it. I know guys have worn like hooded sweatshirts and stuff, but I don't know if you can actually wear a coat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like Tua. Tua wanted to walk away probably when he landed in Buffalo. Is he landed in Buffalo?
I'm not sure.
I wanted to walk away when I got to the office, but it's Friday before a huge weekend in the NFL, and my second team, just won last night. I had to brag about that.
Well, I know you wanted to come in and do a victory dance for Brock Purdy today because I've been the one saying, all right, pump the brakes. This guy's a 7th-round rookie. At some point, he's going to look like a rookie. Now, I still think that moment is coming, but it didn't come last night. He was excellent. I mean, I think nothing underscores how good he was than the double play fake. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
Cool.
The fake to Ray McLeod, the fake to McCaffrey, and then all of a sudden Kittle is all alone up the seam, and he scores like a 27-yard touchdown. That was beautiful.
Yeah, and welcome back, George Kittle. We actually said yesterday, how come we don't hear George Kittle's name? He's awesome. He's
2
kind
touchdowns last night.
Kelsey-ish. That play was beautiful. I saw this really cool video that Steve Young ran the same exact play. It comes from the Bill Walsh tree.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so the Niners are firing on all cylinders. I'm really, really curious. Can Brock Purdy keep this up? Because sometimes backup quarterbacks, you get tape on them, you can figure out their tendencies. I don't get that vibe with this team because the team around them is so good.
Okay, well, the defense will always keep them in it. We know that. But the fact that he played this well without Debo and just the fact that he's in Seattle for the first time, starting on the road, hostile environment. Now they've won 3 straight with him. They've won 7 overall, 7 straight. So here's my one thing. How long did it take for basically the 2 defenses this year, one of them the 49ers, the other the Chargers, to figure out Tua? Like sometimes it just takes a little bit, and then there's a blueprint out on you, and then another team's able to replicate it, and then we'll see if the Bills can be the 3rd team or if the Dolphins are going to adjust. But what I'm saying is you never know when a team's going to catch up to you. It took a while for teams to catch up with Tua. Is it going to come for Brock Purdy, and when? See, the thing is that their schedule is not that crazy going down the stretch.
Who do they got?
So 49ers have Washington, then they have Vegas, then they have Week 18, stand by 1 second, Final is Arizona.
Yeah.
So these are not going to be defenses. Maybe Washington a bit will test them, but Vegas, Arizona.
Well, they might not be playing for anything. Depends where them and Minnesota land around. Now, all of a sudden, San Francisco is the first team to clinch a division. That's amazing. I mean, they were, we wrote them off basically when Trey Lance got hurt early in the season. Jimmy G came in and lost immediately. Now, if I had told you that Brock Purdy was going to do this, you would have never, ever believed me. I do think it's just continued to be, and I'm going to maintain this, the most unique situation for a quarterback. You do not land in spots like this where you have Nick Bosa and Fred Warner on the other side. You have Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle on the offensive side. They can make up for a lot of flaws for their quarterback.
Okay, I will still maintain he hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it yet. I feel like people are penciling them into the Super Bowl right now. Okay, hold on. He hasn't done it yet. Let's see him face a team like the Dallas Cowboys defense. Yeah. Let's see Brock Purdy go against the Philadelphia defense. I mean, these have not been huge tests for him, although I think Miami's defense is better than you think they are. So that one was good. But Seattle didn't barely put up, their defense barely put up much of a fight last night. So I still want to reserve my Brock Purdy is going to have a moment where he's going to play like a rookie.
Okay, those defenses are good, but they're nothing like the San Francisco defense. I guess if the Cowboys get Micah Parsons going, doesn't it feel like he's slowed down just a scunch and Nick Bosa's passed him to be the defense player of the year? I don't know if the Vegas odds updated, but it feels like Nick Bosa now leads the league in sacks. He's become the Aaron Donald-like figure in the NFL, and maybe he can do what Donald did for the Rams last year.
Be the closer?
Yeah, like Von Miller was supposed to be for you guys. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that as a Bills fan. Let's just remind me that one of the most important players is now injured. Still, it's a podcast that's pretty entertaining, though. Good for Vaughn.
So here's some stats on Brock Purdy.
Okay.
And tell me what you think of these. So 69% completion percentage since Jimmy G got hurt, 7 touchdowns, 1 pick, 612 yards, 106.8 passer rating.
I'm glad you corrected that to 106.8 because if it was 105, what a bum. But 106.8, best quarterback ever.
I don't know where the Pro Bowl is anymore, but maybe send Brock there. And his parents are awesome.
Yeah, I think so. I get it. I get the mania. So may I just for a moment?
Yes.
Let's just say that this becomes a Kurt Warner type season or even a Tom Brady like season from back when he wasn't a rookie, obviously, but early on in New England. So now what? I mean, people will say, oh, this is a great problem to have. It's an awesome problem to have. You got your 4th string quarterback is now going to compete with Trey Lance. Is that really an awesome problem to have? Considering how much you gave up to trade for Trey Lance. It's already gone, backfired because of injury, which just happens, right? Like this is the NFL. But to have it backfire where he could get potentially outplayed by Mr. Irrelevant. Is that a great problem to have? I would argue it's not.
Well, I mean, listen, Matthew Stafford went to L.A. and blew up the whole team. They're going to be bad for probably 8 years unless Baker Mayfield takes off. So would they take that Super Bowl? Of course. So if Brock Purdy can lead them to Super Bowl, I think he might be starting next year.
Okay, well, say it's not Super Bowl.
Okay.
Let's just say it's not exactly. Say it's divisional round or still something that would be considered a success, NFC Championship game.
Ooh, then you have a great competition in the summer, and that's what you want as a team. What's wrong with this? What's the downside?
Well, the downside is you might have missed so bad on your evaluation of a quarterback that you took one guy 3rd and the other guy with the last pick in the draft, whatever number that is, and one is better than the other.
Well, it seems unfair. You can't blame the Niners for, I feel like for taking Brock Purdy, like they should get credit for that.
They get credit for it, but at the same time, what were they seeing in Lance? Like, that's the thing about this offense. No, but what were we seeing in him? I know it was early, but the guys barely played. And it's just funny to me, like, they mortgaged so much to go after a quarterback when Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy make them look like Super Bowl contenders. Why did you do that? Why did you waste all that? And it was urgency. It was desperate. I mean, they got totally worked on that trade to trade up rather. And if Lance never ends up panning out, like, what did you do? And granted, if you win a Super Bowl, no one's going to care. But if you don't, doesn't that show that your evaluation or your process was wrong?
I think you're trying to have it both ways. You're trying to say Brock Purdy is going to be figured out, and you're also trying to say Brock Purdy's better than Trey Lance and is going to start next year.
Because I don't know what Trey Lance is.
Yeah, I mean, I think my only counter argument would be Trey Lance was hurt, so it's impossible to judge where that was going. Because what do we have? A game and a half. It was sopping wet in one of the games. It was ridiculous.
That game in Chicago.
And then you throw in, until Jimmy G is gone from that team, I'm just assuming he's on the roster next year.
There's always a seat for him.
Yeah.
It's like almost like when they have like a locker for somebody. It's just like all time.
Oh, like the Rams with Odell this year?
Yeah, they kept it. Just keep all Jimmy's stuff intact. Keep the mirror up.
Well, I
just assume he has a mirror.
What happened to the story? There's a chance Jimmy G comes back in the playoffs? No, I don't remember what happened. I can't keep track of who's coming or going for San Francisco.
There was an outside shot. Remember, there was like the good news that he could be back by the divisional round or whatever. And then Kyle Shanahan basically threw cold water on that and said it was a way outside shot. Like, don't get excited.
All right. I don't know. Somebody's got to play quarterback there, and they're going to be good. I think I could play quarterback there, Maggie. I have
With the coat on?
I have these backup quarterbacks. Yeah, I kind of look like an old school Niners player. Like, what's his name? Y.A. Tittle or John Hadle? We've been talking all week about Tom Brady's overcoat.
Yeah.
That's what I want right now because I can watch the weather in Buffalo on TV, and I'm freezing to death. I don't know how you grew up in that stuff.
I don't either. I don't either. That's why I moved to New York City and I was like, ooh, this is toasty here because it doesn't have 12 feet of snow, basically. 855-212-4CBS. But you were saying before the show that now I look like I'm being a tough guy. Like I look like I'm one of the offensive linemen who's not wearing any sleeves today because you're wearing a coat. And if I'm going to be the tough guy on the show, then we are all in a ton of trouble.
No.
It's bad news.
No, you're super tough, Maggie.
Why? Because I grew up in the snow?
You take the girl out of upstate New York. You cannot take the upstate New York out of the girl. Yeah. I know enough. 2 beers in, it's on.
I know. When I start talking like a truck driver.
Yeah, Brock Purdy, it's unbelievable. If I had tried to invent a quarterback, I love backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, you do.
What if I said a guy from Iowa State who was Mr. Irrelevant is going to look amazing and lead the Niners to the hottest team in the league. No way.
And also, there's just been so many eyeballs on these games, too. Like, he's doing it in these really big moments, like when you are playing against the Dolphins. Obviously, everyone thinks that's a really big game, of course. It's just like now you get the Thursday standalone game. Like, they've just been all these very big games.
Yeah, totally. And he doesn't look nervous at all.
Yeah.
Have you've seen my Brock Purdy tweet that I love more than anything, right?
What's that?
Where it's his first game in, he's doing mop-up duty, and he goes to hand the ball off to Elijah Mitchell.
Yes.
And Elijah Mitchell's on the complete opposite side of him. So he just holds his arm straight, then he just takes off. I will retweet it. Or you should retweet it. It's the best.
It's so great when he just is handing off and the guy's coming on the totally different side of the handoff. Yeah, Sorry, it was Miami and then Tampa, of course, with Tom Brady. How could I forget that? And now Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, too, is even if you are slowing the brakes on Brock Purdy, you have to like this story.
I do. Well, I do. I definitely do. I'd be a heartless person not to like the story.
Yeah.
It's easy to get behind. I'm just curious how long it continues. Because if I'm a defensive coordinator for one of these teams that's coming up, Washington, Vegas, Arizona, or whoever they're going to meet in the playoffs, I'm taking this personally.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am not going to if our offense gets beaten by this crazy defense, so be it. I'll live with that. But if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm taking this personally that I'm not going to let Brock Purdy beat us.
Yeah. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks, you said on yesterday's show, that defense is suspect.
Oh, man.
How can you not cover Christian McCaffrey? That's the most obvious thing you do when you're playing the Niners. First drive, wide open Christian McCaffrey again and again and again.
How about Diggs, though? Drop that would have been the interception.
Yeah.
I feel like that really would have changed the game. And then when Geno, he didn't throw the pick, but obviously it was a fumble that gets returned basically to the 3-yard line, and McCaffrey ends up running the ball in anyway. That, I felt like, changed so much because Seahawks can't play from behind. They said it on the broadcast last night, and they were totally right.
Nope. I feel like the Geno Smith dream is coming to an end, Maggie.
So isn't that funny? Does one dream have to die for another dream to live? Like, if now Geno as the great story kind of goes away and here comes Brock Purdy as the big story, I feel bad for Geno. He put together a really great season, but it's just...
I know. Well, you know what? This is still a great story. Even if they go 7-10, I love the Geno. I think Geno Smith's going to get a Pro Bowl invite. I was looking at the stats. He has plenty of stats to get there.
Yeah, 70% completion.
Yeah, this is a great story no matter what happens with Seattle.
Thank you for watching our video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos like this, just hit the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Just hit the bell.